Hey everyone, welcome to the Law Society of America, the channel where we break down the law in ways that are easy, surprising, and sometimes shocking. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 things that most people think are illegal in the United States but actually are not. These are everyday situations that confuse millions of Americans, and even some police officers might raise an eyebrow if they saw you doing them. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth, and I promise that number 1 will completely change the way you see the law in your daily life. The first thing that shocks almost everyone is collecting rainwater. For years, there has been a myth going around that collecting rainwater on your property is illegal in America. Some people imagine that if they put a barrel in their backyard to catch rain, the government is going to come knocking on their door. The truth is, in most states, collecting rainwater is completely legal. Not only is it legal, but in many areas it is actually encouraged to save water. The confusion comes from certain states like Colorado and Utah, where water laws are very strict because all water is considered part of a complex rights system that dates back over a century. In those states, for a long time, collecting rainwater was either illegal or heavily restricted because the water was technically allocated to downstream users like farmers. But now, even in Colorado, the law allows residents to collect rainwater, up to 110 gallons for personal use. So if you've been avoiding rain barrels because you thought they were against the law, it's time to reconsider. It's legal, environmentally friendly, and can even save you money on your water bill. Next is something almost everyone has wondered about at some point: walking around barefoot in public. You've probably seen the famous sign in stores that says, "No shoes, no shirt, no service," and assume that walking into a store barefoot is illegal. But here's the surprising truth: there is no law in the United States that says being barefoot in a public place like a store, a restaurant, or even a gas station is illegal. Those signs are simply store rules, not state or federal laws. If the owner of a business wants to enforce that policy, they can ask you to leave, but the police will not arrest you just for being barefoot. It's the same with driving a car. People often think it's illegal to drive barefoot, but in every single state, it's perfectly legal. Safety experts might not recommend it because your foot could slip on the pedal, but legally, you're in the clear. So the next time you're walking outside on a hot summer day and you step into a store without shoes, remember, you're not breaking the law. Another big one is recording the police in public. This one is extremely important because most Americans are nervous about pulling out their phone when law enforcement is involved. Many people think it's illegal to film police officers doing their job. The truth is, in almost every situation, it is legal to record the police in the United States as long as you do not interfere with their duties. This right comes from the First Amendment, which protects freedom of speech and the press. Courts have ruled that citizens can record public officials in public places. That means if you're standing on a sidewalk and a police officer is making an arrest, you can legally record it from a safe distance. They may not like it, and some might even tell you to stop, but the law is on your side. The key is that you cannot physically interfere with them or get too close to create a safety risk. This law is the reason so many viral police videos appear online, and those people rarely face legal trouble for filming. Knowing this can protect your rights and keep law enforcement accountable. Here's one that is both funny and shocking: flipping off a police officer or anyone else in public. That's right, the middle finger, the classic gesture of anger or frustration, is actually protected by the First Amendment. Multiple court cases have ruled that it counts as free speech and is therefore legal. Now, before you start testing this in traffic, remember that just because something is legal doesn't mean it's wise. A police officer can't arrest you just for giving them the finger, but they might watch you more closely or find another reason to issue a ticket if you break any other rule. The gesture itself, though, is not a crime in the United States. This is one of those examples that perfectly shows how free speech can cover things that are rude or offensive, as long as they are not threats or harassment. Finally, the one that surprises almost everyone: eating food in a grocery store before paying for it. Most people are taught that opening a bag of chips or sipping a drink before you reach the cashier is illegal. In reality, in most states, it is not a crime as long as you pay for the item before leaving the store. If you consume the product and then leave without paying, that's theft. But if you open a drink because you're thirsty while shopping and then scan the empty bottle at checkout, you haven't broken any laws. Of course, some stores might have policies against this and could ask you to stop, but criminal charges are unlikely as long as you pay. This is one of those things that looks suspicious to other customers but is actually legal if handled properly. So there you have it. In the United States, there are many things that people assume are crimes because of rumors, old laws, or store policies, but they are actually legal. Collecting rainwater on your property is allowed. Walking around barefoot, even into stores or while driving, is legal. Recording the police in public is protected by the Constitution as long as you don't interfere. Flipping off someone, including a police officer, is rude but completely legal free speech. And even eating your food in a grocery store before you pay is legal as long as you pay before you leave. These examples remind us of an important lesson: not everything that feels wrong is against the law, and not everything that feels right is legal. Understanding your rights is powerful because it keeps you informed and can even protect you in unexpected situations. If you learned something new today, don't forget to subscribe to the Law Society of America for more eye-opening legal facts and explanations. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and let me know in the comments which one of these 5 surprised you the most. You might even have a story about a time you avoided doing something because you thought it was illegal, only to find out today that it wasn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we uncover even more surprising truths about the law in America.